The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. What a warm day it is out. We are getting some heat kind of weather out in New England, and now it's like 75 degrees and heating it up. But of course, as usual, we're heating up things even more with Topic Time. I have an awesome guest, that lovely redhead you see. To my left is a beautiful singer-songwriter. She just told me her genre is country pop, and she was sent to me via the incredible and inimitable Caden Gordon. But of course, before we get to her, I got to read these incredible underwriters as well. We don't have a lot, but they're all great, so we read them off. So we have a new one, Function Automotive in Easton. We have Lynch's Towing Auto Cycle and Truck Center in Brockton. One number for towing, one number for projects. My pal Lynchy over there is always looking for new scrap metal wheels, anything to do with transportation. He handles it all. We have Augie's Food Truck in Lakeville. Great to have them back. We have the Barber Shop in Whitman. Debbie does a great job in that little building just south of Route 27 in the center. We have Comfort Upholstery in East Bridgewater. We have One Good Credit in Brockton. We have Tom Auto in Middleborough. We have the Gun Runner LLC, the Second Amendment Freedom Store in Middleborough, specializing in price and selection, customer service. We have Haven Psychiatric Services here in the building. We have RW Carpet and Flooring in Norton, covering floors for 50 years. We have Grant's Rental in Bridgewater. We have Doggy Boutique, all-breed professional grooming for dogs and cats, run by my great next-door neighbor, Debbie Siddell in Brockton. We have Joe's Diner in Taunton. We have Diesel Plus Unlimited in Whitman, and we have Countertops Express in North Attleboro, experts in the installation and removal of quartz and granite. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now, Lexi James, thank you for doing my show tonight and on the lovely little home of York, Maine, where I believe you're at, right?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Is that your house, your studio, or both?
It's my house, yeah.
And your studio, right? It looks like
No, that's
not
just
your
my
studio.
No. So my studio is actually in my drummer's house. My drummer built a whole studio in
Okay.
his house, and that's where we record. But I'm just in my room right now with my guitar in the background.
Yeah, I guess with the guitar in the background, it looks like a studio. Plus, you have
Yeah.
you have a big unit behind you. It might be a flat screen TV.
Yeah, that's just my giant TV.
Just giant TV, right? But it looks very, very state of the art, which is what
Yes.
which makes it look like a studio. All right.
Yes.
Well, you're very lovely, and I'm looking forward to interviewing you. So, tell me about yourself. Now, are you a lifelong Mainer, or where did you grow up? And then we'll work our way from that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I grew up in Massachusetts. Actually, I grew up in Boxford.
Okay.
And I lived
I
there.
was in a film there about 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's 5 miles north of Somerville. I know exactly where it is.
Yep. So
Okay.
it was a great place to grow up. It was,
It is.
quiet, safe. But I lived there until I graduated high school, and
Okay.
then moved up to Maine with my parents, and they built a house up here in Kittery. So I lived in Kittery, and then was in New Hampshire for a little bit, and then I've been in New York for the past 4 years. So
Okay.
I've been in basically in the Maine area for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. That's wonderful. You must love the beach. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
You look like a
I
beach
do.
type. Yeah.
The beach doesn't love me, but I do love the beach.
Why do you say that? You have a beautiful complexion.
Well, I shouldn't say the beach doesn't love me. I should say the sun doesn't love me.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It looks great to me. Look, I don't know if you don't.
Thank you.
If that beautiful rouge pigmentation on your skin is uncomfortable for you, I'm sorry to hear that, but it looks wonderful to me.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, what was the reason for you just stayed in northern New England, basically? What kept you up there? Just curious. I mean, I know you love the sights and the quiet, I guess, and the beach, but is that it, or is there other things too?
I mean, it's all of my family's here.
Oh, okay. Family's there.
Yeah. It's we're all, I think we all live within less than an hour of each other, so we're all really close.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's just home. I just love it around here.
Yeah,
so,
it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. Well, tell me about, when did you start music? How old were you?
Oh man, I always loved to sing.
Okay.
I was always that kind of almost irritating little kid who would like put on concerts for my family and force everybody to sit down and watch me.
Okay.
But I didn't start. I think I was in middle school when I sang in my first like talent show. First time I ever sang in front of a crowd. And
Okay.
then I was in high school when I was in my first band and started performing out with a band when I was about 16
Okay.
and been really doing that ever since.
Okay.
And played all over the country.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I've played in California and Tennessee and in Florida and I've done a show in Toronto,
Okay.
Canada. So
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I've had the opportunity to play a lot of places.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, all right. Tell me about this band in high school. I mean, is that how many in the band? And do you still perform with them today? And if not, I mean, do you still keep in touch with them?
So there's only one person from that band who's actually still in my band now.
Okay.
But you know, when you're in a band, it's common for there to be a lot of turnover. People
Of
leave,
course.
people have different goals and they decide they want to do different music or do different things or whatever. So there's a lot of like rotating parts over
Of
the
course.
years.
Yep.
But yeah, it was my first experience with a band and I was really nervous. I always loved to sing, but I never really thought of doing that, like
Okay.
joining a band and getting out in front of people. I was nervous.
Okay.
Because when I grew up, I had a stutter growing up.
Really? I
And
couldn't. I
so
can't tell.
yeah,
Worked
I
on it.
still do every now and then, but
Okay.
99% of the time people have no idea and most of the time I don't anymore. But it was much more prominent when I was younger. And of course, when you're young, you're more self-conscious about those things.
Of course. And
So
people never let you forget either.
and people can be not nice.
That's
So
right.
you know, I it was nerve-wracking for me because I love to sing and it was like an escape because I don't stutter when I sing, but I
Oh,
also had
wow.
to face that fear
Yeah. Yeah.
and be brave and talk on stage and do interviews and all those kinds of things. So it helped me to realize that I was stronger than I thought I was.
Okay.
Helped me to face that fear and also kind of escape the fear of it at the same time. So yeah,
Well, well,
music has been great in so many ways.
it has been, and I always say everything happens for a reason. And
Yes.
sometimes there are twists and turns of destiny, and that seem very unusual, like the fact that your singing is
Yes.
ended up nixing the stuttering. It sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I totally agree.
okay. Well, so how many were in that band though in high school?
Oh, let me think. I think there were five of us, maybe.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Is that how
Yeah.
you got? Well, is that how you got to travel so much and sing on the road? Did somebody
Yeah.
discover you since then? Well, when you were discovered, obviously, if you got to travel to all those venues, you were obviously discovered at some point. So tell me about that. And I heard, like I said, I heard your rehearsal and I heard your little studio gig and it sounded amazing. And the
Thank
song we're going
you.
to hear today is going to be great too. But so at some point, were you discovered it and given the opportunity to travel around the country and perform? Obviously, you must have had some kind of an event that made that possible, right?
Um, it depends on how you define like discovered. I
Well,
did
you
get
can't just,
I've had
you're not just going to get out of here. You're not just going to say, "Oh, I'm going to go to California and find a place to perform." Didn't somebody did somebody say, "This girl is talent. Let's get it. Didn't you get calls from agents or people that had heard of you, maybe through osmosis or through connections that you'd already made in school?" Well, you tell
yes.
me.
So it was I started going down to Nashville when I was like I think I was 19.
Okay.
I
By
started
the
going
way, you
down
don't look
there.
much past that now.
uh I get that a lot, but I'm actually 32.
Wow.
And
Okay.
people don't ever believe it,
I believe it, but I'm just
which
saying,
is
yeah, that's great.
thank you.
Yeah,
It's great now. It was really annoying when I was like 19 and looked like I was 15.
I know. I know that. I've been there
But
too.
yeah, so I started going down to Nashville when I was about 19 and I started networking, meeting a lot of people
Okay.
and had the opportunity to work with a lot of different producers and meet a lot of different like songwriters and stuff. And so the music industry is a lot of networking and who you know.
That's true.
And so a lot of those opportunities to play shows, I mean, a lot of those places that I played was part of a radio tour that I did. I got hooked up with this really incredible radio promoter His name was Doc.
Okay.
And he was one of those people that when you're in the music industry, there are a lot of people who will pretend like they believe in you to take advantage of you.
Yes,
And
I
he was one
know.
of those, people who genuinely was a good person and really believed in me.
Okay.
And so he has unfortunately since passed.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
he was just an incredible person in so many ways. And so he helped to set up some radio stuff. So I got to travel to like the West Coast and
Yep.
do like some radio stuff in like Alabama and Tennessee and all those kinds of things. And
Yeah, California and in Toronto.
yeah,
Wow.
yep.
Okay.
So I got
So
to do
he
that
so
for
he
a
was
little
your
bit.
he was your connecting rod, basically.
He was,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
And he was awesome. And
Yeah.
you know, he helped really push my song at that time. And it was a really cool experience to get to travel like that.
Yep.
I haven't traveled a ton lately. I do a lot of stuff around New England
Of
now,
course.
but I will travel wherever. So
Yeah. Wherever. I know.
I'll play anywhere.
Wherever the gold dust hits you. I understand.
Exactly.
No, I know. Oh, now, speaking of gold dust, look at this. Look at that mug of yours. That's pretty. That looks gold plated.
My little
Looks like you won it. Looks like you won it in a contest, singing something. Okay. All right. Okay. So what are you currently working on now? We're currently working on where you're at.
So this summer is jam-packed with shows, lots of
Okay.
shows all over the place, Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire. And actually currently in the studio too, working on my next single. My most recent single came out about a month ago, but we're already working on the next couple. And you know, just writing and
Yeah.
playing shows and working on social media stuff. And you know, it's just a lot of it's a lot of moving pieces, you know, like you know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of different pieces that you have to work on all at the same time.
Okay. Well, on that note, we're gonna hear one of your songs, and then we're gonna come back and talk about it. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Don't be a lady, be a legend. Stop all your second guessing. Baby girl, you got this.
Oh, Lexi, that was great. What did we just listen to?
So that's my latest single. It's called Girls Can.
Okay.
And the cool thing about this song is that a few years ago I got an opportunity to go down to Nashville and be part of this songwriting seminar
Okay.
that was put on by NSAI, which is Nashville Songwriters Association.
Okay.
And they're like a songwriter rights advocacy group, and they
Right.
help to fight for fair pay for songwriters, and they help to connect songwriters to meet other co-writers, and they put on different events to help songwriters learn more about the business and the creative part of songwriting.
Right.
And so they put on this really great seminar, which was hosted by them, but it was led by Liz Rose, and Liz
Oh.
Rose is one of the biggest songwriters in Nashville. I mean, she was part of Taylor Swift's first few albums, co-writing
Wow.
all of those really big hits with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's written songs for Carrie Underwood and Little Big Town, and just name them. You know, she's written songs for them. And so I got accepted. You had to apply to it and be accepted, and I was lucky enough to be accepted into that, and got to learn from her about the business. And they would take us and kind of break us up into groups, randomly assign us into groups, and give us prompts for songs, or say just write a song about whatever you want.
Okay.
And I was put in a group with this awesome woman. Her name is Stacy Pandya.
Okay.
And I don't even remember how it came about. We were just talking about, you know, let's write like a girl power song. Let's write a song about
Okay.
like women can be anything, and you don't have to have like a man by your side to be happy and be successful and do all the things that you want to do.
Okay.
And wrote this song really, really quickly, and it was a really fun song. And it's been doing really well. People have been loving it, so I'm
course.
happy that I finally got to release it, because I wrote it like before the pandemic, and didn't get a chance to record it. And I've been going through my catalog and found this one, and I was like, this one's gotta get out there into the world.
Well, I'm so honored that you played it on my show, because that's what
Yeah.
I like that, I like to think that whatever opportunities are going to come your way, I'd love to say that I help spark something along those lines,
Absolutely.
obviously. But you're such a go-getter that no matter what, you'll always, it sounds like as long as you're healthy and you look very healthy and you're active and you have all the energy that you have, like, the Mexican jumping bean on a hot griddle, you're going to be doing whatever, you're going to be finding ways to connect. Now tell me some of have you ever opened for anybody that I might have heard of? I'm just wondering. You mentioned you've been connected with some other artists.
Yeah. So about a year ago, I got to open for Jordan Davis, and
Okay.
there was this country fest that Smutty Nose Brewery in New Hampshire put on, so I got to open for him, which was really, really cool.
Okay.
I got to open for Phil Vassar.
I love Phil Vassar.
I've opened for Lori Morgan and Pam
Colleen,
Tillis. They were
right? Okay.
so yes.
Yeah.
And they were so nice. And but the biggest one I opened for was Charlie Daniels.
Wow.
And yeah, so I got to go down to Florida. He used to do this like benefit every year that that benefited a this charity that he worked with.
Yes.
And it was like a 3-day thing, and there was like a golf part, and so there was like an acoustic show, but then the last night was this full band show at this venue there. And he had all of these bands that would play, and then he would be the headliner, obviously.
Right.
And at the end of the night, he would invite all of the bands to come up on stage with him and just be on stage with him while he ended his set with Amazing Grace.
Okay.
And I was standing on stage, and I was right next to him, and he leaned over to me and he said, "Do you know this song?"
Wow.
And I said, "I know the first verse." And he said, "Sing it." And I was like, "Yes, sir."
Wow.
I got to sing
an
on
apocalyptic
stage.
event. I mean, in a
Yeah.
good way. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I got to sing on stage with Charlie Daniels, which was
I know.
mind blowing.
Absolutely. Not like probably to that point, the peak of your career, I guess.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely to this day, like the highlight for sure.
I remember, I know he passed away, but I remember back in 1979 when I turned 20 in 1979, and I remember The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Well, I guess you were the angel that followed. Right? Yeah. Well, wherever you met him, I don't know if it was Georgia, but
Florida, so like close
Florida,
enough.
close enough. Okay, very close. Okay, that's awesome. That is so sweet. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, so obviously you've obviously got your foot in the door big time. You've not only you've kicked the door wide open. You just, I'm talking to someone here that it's going to be along the, in the realm of the Taylor Swift
Oh,
collection, I'm sure eventually. But
that is the hope.
yeah, but you don't even, right now you're doing so well, you don't even have to think about that because it's amazing and you have so many people behind you and you're making things happen. So you get,
Yep.
all right. So where do you perform currently, like in different venues at night? Do you go to, right now you're up in York, Maine, but are you going to be performing at, any outdoor shows coming up or even indoor shows in the next, few weeks, summertime and everything?
Yeah, so I was just in Boston last night. Actually, I
Okay.
got to play at Loretta's right across from Fenway, which was great.
Wow.
It was
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
fun.
I've never
Yeah,
heard of
I
it, but I
was
know the neighborhood.
yeah,
Okay.
it was really, really cool.
Yep.
Next Thursday I'm in Hampton Beach in New Hampshire playing the half shell stage outside, which will be really, really great. And then I'm in Old Orchard Beach
Yep.
next weekend, and I'll be in Derry the following week, back in Old Orchard Beach that weekend. So all of my dates are currently listed on my website.
Okay.
You can find them all there at lexijamesmusic.com. But
Yep.
yeah, next up is we're going to Hampton next Thursday, which will
Love
be
that
really,
beach.
really fun.
It
Yeah,
is a sweet
it'll be
beach.
really fun.
It is, and I know you'll do great up there. With with a beautiful evening, nice night, and the weather's going to be
Yes.
awesome and everything.
Perfect.
Okay. So have you been? So I guess you've obviously been on the radio. Have you had any other interview? You've done a lot of interviews. I mean, this isn't your first interview, I guess, right?
No, I've
You've
done yeah, I've done a lot. It's hard to I have a terrible memory, to be totally honest.
Well,
So
I
I
can help you
can't
with that. Okay.
but yeah, I've done tons of interviews. Like I said, when I did that radio tour, I would go around radio stations and play my song for
Yep.
them, play a few songs, and then sometimes I do an interview on the air. Sometimes I just play them a few songs, and I've done interviews on Zoom, and I've done interviews in person, and I've done tons of interviews, and it's always really, really cool to get to talk about because singing and performing is so great. It's
Yep.
like it's the most it's the most gratifying part of the job, but it is
course.
really cool to get to talk about everything else that goes into it, because people see such a small part of music, and they see just the performing, or they see just what you post on social media. So it's cool to be able to get to talk about these things and tell some stories and let people in a little bit more to what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and plus about yourself too, because people, inquiring minds want to know. Well, if you ever done in my area, let me know and I'll come see a show. I'd love that. I mean, it would be
that'd be great.
I have to come up on stage and say, yeah, she was on my show, and that'd be up. I mean, I don't know if your manager would allow that, but well, speaking of your manager, is Caden your rep? I mean, is there anyone else involved in that right now?
So my manager is actually Shauna McCrory. Excuse me. And she's been so great, and Caden's doing so much with radio and interviews. And
right.
So I'm just really, really lucky. I'm surrounded by really, really incredible people who believe in me and work really hard to help me, because I'm great at the music part of it, but everybody needs help.
It's
to
true.
Get to where they want to be in this industry. You don't
get
there
do what
by
I
yourself.
do without the people behind me around here either. So I know what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly. No one gets to where they are by themselves.
That's right.
So it's Shauna and Caden and my whole band, and I have a great family, and it's just I'm just surrounded by really, really great people who support me and believe in me, which is I feel so lucky, because there are a lot of musicians out there who don't have that kind of a support system.
Right.
And they're so strong to be able to push through that, because it would be I feel lucky for me personally to have all that support, because I think I would definitely struggle without that. So props to those who are essentially doing it by themselves and still believing in themselves.
That's true. Do you spend a lot of time writing? So I mean, your songs are mostly originals, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, I do. I usually write from experience. So you know, song ideas kind of just come to me. A melody will just come to me randomly, or a lyric idea will come to me randomly. And then I kind of take it from there.
Okay.
So it's just kind of, you kind of just have to be very open-minded and open to it, and
Yes.
kind of just let things spark inspiration in you whenever,
Well, it's
because
obviously
you just never know.
Have you ever done anything else in entertainment? You ever done any acting? You ever done any modeling? You look like you could do both, but you tell me.
Oh my goodness, I could never be a model because I am 5'2", so I
Well,
am definitely not.
I know. I
tall
heard that.
enough.
I heard that they don't like short girls, but let me tell you something.
No.
If I ran an agency, you'd be the top model
Oh, thank
in
you.
there. But that's because
No,
I'm a little biased. What can I tell you?
I've never done acting or anything like that. Just
Okay.
just
Just
music.
music. Okay.
Yeah.
And how
Yep.
many in your band currently? The one that you go with that travels with you when you perform?
So there are 6 of us. So
Okay,
5
wow.
including me.
Five including
5 plus me.
five plus
Sorry,
you. So
5 plus me.
gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And now you're the lead singer, I guess. But then I
Yes.
assume you have other people in the band that sing as well, right?
Yes. So my acoustic guitar player, he sings like a few songs in a
Okay.
night, because you know, sometimes you'll have really, really long shows back
Oh
to
yeah.
back,
Wow.
or within a couple of days of each other.
Yep.
And so he throws in a few songs in a night, so I can take a breath for a
Take a
few
little breath, of
minutes.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are there any other people in your band write your songs too, or I mean, at all? I mean, I know you're the primary writer, but are there any other band members that write as well for you guys?
So all of the songs that I release, I haven't written with the guys in my band. Most of them, I've asked them, and they're like, I don't write. They're
Oh,
like, I
okay.
just want to play the
So-
music.
So you're the head honcho still, and and you have the full responsibility of keeping it, keep. You are the cog in the machine. It is your band after all.
Yeah, which feels like a lot of pressure sometimes, because it's like, you know, it's not like I love to write songs, but sometimes it's that pressure of like, oh my gosh, you have to keep pumping out material, and it's sometimes it's a little bit like, I need to make sure I have stuff for us to work on,
Right, of course.
but
Yeah, you can't force it. It has to come naturally.
well, that's the hard part too.
Right.
It's like, you don't want to
Right.
force it, but you can't just
You can't be
wait.
passive either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so I write on my own, but I also through that NSAI that I talked about in Nashville, I've been able to meet some really great people to co-write with, and I've co-written quite
Oh,
a
wow.
few of my
Okay.
songs that I've released with people through NSAI. And yeah, so it's just something, it's one of those things that the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Of course,
You know?
yeah.
Um,
Like what I do too. I understand.
Yeah.
I get it. It's still a challenge every day, but it's a fun one because you're so good
Exactly.
at it. And speaking of names,
Exactly.
do you have a name for your band, or is it just Lexi James and the Five Musketeers or whatever?
So I'm technically a solo artist, but my
Yes.
band's name is Wild Heart. So
Okay.
it's Lexi James and Wild Heart.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of names, I noticed that when we connected on Facebook, your real name is not Lexi James. It's like Alexi Alexandria Cecilia. Well, what's up with that? Just curious, if you don't mind me
So
asking.
I keep my personal page, which I don't really use a lot. You just kind of like, you have to have a personal Facebook page in order to make a fan page.
Okay.
So like when I was in high school, Facebook was cool and I had my page and everything, and but I don't really use it that much anymore. So I just
Okay.
kind of changed it to my legal name.
Right.
So it's just kind of separate from my fan page. But yeah, my legal name is Alexandria. So definitely
What are the other two names in there? Alexandria Cecily, and there's a third one.
Daisy. Those are my middle names.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because when I was trying to find you on Facebook, I couldn't find Lexi James, and that's why, we texted and
Yep.
you made it clear that it was something else.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And obviously, social media has done very well by you, but you now, what was it? You were doing like a little dance number you did a little video just before we set this interview up. And I noticed that you were like you were like in a halter top doing this. What's up? Remember, you know what I'm talking about? Just about 3 or 4 days ago.
Oh, with that shirt, with that black shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just posting that shirt because I found on a website online, they have these t-shirts that have like just funny sayings on them.
Okay.
And
I like
I
funny
found that
sayings.
and I found that one and I showed it to my mom and my mom was like, you cannot wear that on stage. Like you
Oh,
can't.
really?
And I
Well,
was like,
why not? What did it say on it that can you repeat what it said or not? Was
oh
that
yeah. Oh yeah.
okay?
No, she wasn't serious, but she was just kind of like, I can't believe you're gonna wear it on stage. It said live, laugh, lobotomy instead of live, laugh, love.
I remember that.
So
Okay.
so I posted it online because I thought it was funny and I was like, what do you think, guys? Should I wear it to my next show? And people were like, absolutely. So I wore it to my show last weekend.
Good for you. I'm sure your
yeah.
mother will forgive you. I mean,
Oh yeah, no, she thinks it's funny.
It is funny, and you know what I'm saying? You have a comedic side too, and I like that because it's,
oh, thank you.
At some point you might want to write a comedic song. There's nothing wrong with that, or a sad one.
Exactly.
Either way, I'm going to listen to more of your music so I can really figure out what you're about. And on that note, Lexi, we're finally under 5 minutes. I hope you had fun talking to me after the screw ups at the beginning. Great. I had a great time too. I think you're an amazing person and a great performer.
Thank you.
I'd love to, if you ever come down here, let me know. Maybe we can hook up or something. It's up to you.
Yes.
But I know you're very busy and everything, but I don't go anywhere. I'm pretty much just around here doing what I do.
Yeah.
All right. So in the remaining time, I'd like you to look at your unit, give shouts out to a few people that are going to see the show. Even if you can't get them all, we'll condense them. That includes your band members, your family, and then we'll wrap the show up. And then if you go ahead. So just give a few shouts out to people. I know a lot of people are going to watch this show, so go for it.
Yeah, so like you said, first and foremost, shout out to Caden Gordon for this interview. Thank you, Caden. Yep. Shout out to my manager, Shauna McCrory. She's incredible. She works so hard. Thank you so much. My whole band, Wild Heart, we got Chris, we got Mark, Corey, Kent, and Bob, and John on sound.
You're the only woman in there, right?
I am.
Sweet.
I am.
Okay.
I'm the only girl.
Like Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I don't know if you remember that band a little bit. But
I do.
Good.
I do.
Okay. A little before your time, but they're still iconic, so you know about them. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And oh my gosh, who else? Shout out to my mom because she's the best. Yeah, those are, shout out to my whole family. I just had last night when I played at Loretta's, my cousin and his wife came. So shout out to them for coming to my show last night.
Okay.
But yeah, just shout out to they know who they are.
They know who they are. They appreciate you.
I'm bad with thinking of people I should thank sometimes.
Speaking of cousins, I'm just quick. Are you familiar with Sarah Silverman, the comedian?
Yes.
She's my cousin.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Isn't that unbelievable? I know. That's something.
That's wild.
I thought I'd throw that by you. I thought you might appreciate that.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well,
that's
listen,
so cool.
It is. I know. She takes after me. I'm comedic too in my own way.
There you go.
And it annoys a lot of people too. Believe me, and I love that. All right. So if you had a good time with me, I'm just going to ask that you give my digits to anybody that you can think might be a good guest on my show. We'll get them on either by Zoom or in person. I always prefer the in-person interview, but Zoom can work, obviously. And that's it. Mm-hmm. So you did a great job.
Awesome.
Is there anything you want to mention, like coming up? I know you mentioned you got your music, your songs, but if there's something I just want to make sure we don't forget anything before we sign off. But go ahead.
Yeah.
If not, that's fine. But
yeah, just check out my website at lexijamesmusic.com. You can find out where I'm playing next. You can get to all of my social media stuff. If you guys could give me a follow on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, wherever. And maybe follow me on Spotify, and that would be awesome. I'd appreciate it.
Okay. One last favor. When we wrap the show up, will you stick around and let my tech guy take a pic for Facebook, and I'll tag you in it.
Yes.
And hopefully you can tag me. All right.
Awesome. Yes.
All right, Lexi, great job. All right, folks, we're wrapping up another great Topic Time episode. More to follow. Stay tuned, rolling out and snapping off. Or whatever. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young.